There you go.
So,
You know whose name is tarnished?
whose name is tarnished?
Joe, he's your favorite coach. If you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, you've got to be grinning ear from ear. Listen, the only other news that will make a Falcons fan happy is if we traded Matt Ryan.
Let's shut up. Stop. Look.
But it lasts.
You know, I've said this, and it is ridiculous how bad the Falcons have done in the offseason in terms of not only not making any moves, but being, I think, totally disingenuous about why. But in terms of offseason intangibles, this has been a great offseason if you're a Falcon fan, because the Saints have gotten hammered by the NFL. And most Falcons fans, I'm not among them. I actually hate the Bucs more, but most Falcons fans hate the Saints with a passion. The Saints have gotten hammered. Parcells turned them down. They're going to have head coach by committee. The player suspensions haven't even come out yet. Has Breeze signed his contract yet? I don't think he has.
No, it's not a franchise tag yet.
It's been a disaster for the Saints, and now Bobby Petrino goes down in flames in such a way that it's possible, maybe not likely, but possible that he won't coach again. The intangibles are awesome.
I'm going to say this about Bobby Petrino. I hate you. I hate you with a Matt Ryan-like intensity.
Stop. Look, Matt Ryan, you just don't think Matt Ryan plays that well. Petrino is actively a jackass.
No. Here's the thing. I'm going to make this very, very clear. Bobby Petrino is a better coach than Matt Ryan is a quarterback.
At the college level.
Sure.
Don't say sure. At the college level. His professional coaching tenure is awful.
I'm going to say this. Petrino clearly, no one could have coached the Falcons that year when Vic went to jail. No one.
Yeah, but somebody could have not left in the middle of the night and not lied to the owner about it.
That part we all can see. But he is a better college coach than Matt Ryan as a quarterback. Now, Matt Ryan is a better overall person than Bobby Petrino, but for their skill set, Petrino's better.
Yeah, you have no reason to hate Ryan. You cannot want him on your team, but you have no reason to hate him.
Listen, if it works for Skip Bayless, I'm hate too.
Yeah.
Haters going to hate.
So Petrino gets caught. I'll tell you an interesting thing I heard today, and I'll even shout out to the source. Petrino, right. For those of you who have been completely unaware, Petrino has a motorcycle accident. Mm-hmm. People say, Coach Petrino, were you by yourself on the motorcycle? Oh, yeah, it was just me. And in fact, there's even a state trooper who says it was just him. And it turns out that's not true. That with Petrino riding on his bike is a 25-year-old woman who he has just hired out of a pool of 169 candidates for a job on the football staff, and apparently there was a pre-existing inappropriate relationship.
Really? Why would it be inappropriate?
Yeah, and she's engaged to someone else. Petrino's married to someone else.
Really?
And it takes a while for the university to get its act together because the university is trying to figure out how it can legally fire him and not have to pay him. So they sent Petrino the notice in writing so they would not have to pay him. And here's a little detail about the statement that the university made that I think is interesting. And I was listening to what, for my money, is the best college football radio program in America, which is the Barnhart and Durham program on 790 AM here in Atlanta. When those guys are both on and talking about college football, it's the best show in its genre. Here's something they pointed out today that I think is fascinating. The statement by the university said that the relationship between the coach and the woman that he was on the motorcycle with had been in place for quite a while. She was an undergraduate in Arkansas. If he had been having a relationship with her since he arrived, that means they started when she was a co-ed. And he basically found a job for her to continue their inappropriate relationship. And if that's true, that adds another layer to the scandalousness of this situation and may, in fact, make it much harder for him to get a job elsewhere.
Let me get it straight. This is how the timeline goes. Petrino coaches Falcons on Monday Night Football.
Yes.
Falcons thrown out. Petrino the next morning hired his Arkansas coach. Petrino that afternoon is sleeping in one of the co-ed dorms.
Well, it's possible. Now, I don't know, but that timeline is not entirely inconsistent with what's going on and that what we know so far. Now, maybe we'll never find out because maybe this will all go away and they'll drop it. But man, I'll tell you, it's a bad reflection on Arkansas. It is a bad reflection on Petrino. I side with the people who say he will probably get another coaching job someplace. There's been discussion of whether he might take a job in the NFL as a position coach, which is a great place to hide. He could go the Jim Tressel route and be a consultant somewhere while he's waiting for the public to forget what he did. But my guess is at some point down the line there will be a small school that wants to be a big school, and they will realize that Bobby Petrino has a really strong record of coaching at the college level, and they'll hire him again. But in the meantime, couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
He could go kind of the Charlie Weiss role, where Weiss was let go from Notre Dame, goes and is an offensive coordinator and does fairly well. And then where's Charlie Weiss now? Florida? Or he was at Florida as an offensive coordinator. He's a coach somewhere now. I can't remember. It could be that scenario. I will say,
or actually, I think a more analogous route is George O'Leary, right? O'Leary gets hired for like a day by Notre Dame, and then it comes out that he had somehow a false information had ended up on his resume. Notre Dame fires him, and he disappears for a while, and I believe into the NFL for a while as a position coach, and then reemerges as the coach in Florida, where he's doing very, very well.
Still kind of living in anonymity, but so that kind of leads us to Arkansas, who by most accounts people thought were a top 5, top 10 team going into next year. Missouri's coming to the SEC, Texas A&M coming to the SEC. There's a lot of questions, Joe, and you know when we ask questions, you know what we do.
What's that?
Rapid fire. It's time for a little rapid fire with Arkansas.
By the way, I just want to say that's a new record. We have 2 different sounders on the program. We're rapidly approaching professionalism.
We're almost official. All right, Joe, you ready for some rapid fire?
I am.
Question number 1: Arkansas loses Bobby Petrino. Will they remain a top 5 program next year?
I will say no, but that's mostly because I didn't think they were a top 5 program this year. I'll entirely concede that my thinking was probably clouded by my hatred of Petrino. So maybe after a year I'll have a better place from which to go. But I will say no.
Will they play in a BCS bowl game?
When you say, do you mean one of the top 5 bowl games?
Yes.
No.
Do they win 10 games?
No.
They got Alabama and LSU coming to Arkansas.
They will not win 10 games.
The interim coach right now is a guy I've never heard of. Will Arkansas go out and hire another big-name coach after the Petrino disaster?
I don't think so. I'll tell you the speculation that I heard today that I think is interesting. I do think it makes the most sense for them to keep the interim coach for a year. Even though we're so early in the year, it's actually kind of late in the football offseason to be switching coaches. And my guess is they will probably keep an interim coach, and then you'll see a big national search at the end of the year, and I think that will be partly why they don't win 10 games. There was some speculation that I heard that maybe Jimmy Johnson would emerge from the booth to coach that team. I think that is wrong because I think Jimmy Johnson is entirely happy doing what he does. I don't understand why he would give himself the headache of being a college coach coming into a situation where there was a lot of scandal. He by all accounts really enjoys his lifestyle. He's got plenty of money, and what he does is frankly really easy. So I think that's not going to happen. But barring a huge name like that kind of comes out of nowhere, no, I don't think they'll get a big name this year.
And I think you kind of answered this already. Over under 1.5 years before Petrino's a head coach.
Oh, over. Definitely over. I think the fairer question is over under 1.5 years before he has a major coaching position, and I don't mean head coach, but like a coordinator position, or even like a quarterback's coach position, which might be.
He'll be somewhere next year. He'll be somewhere in the NFL next year.
I don't know if that's true. Maybe you may be right.
All right, kids, that was
Strong.